Hey Hotspotters, Rob here. Welcome to episode number 3 of Behind the Process. So this is the third video now, and if you've watched all 3 of them, all 2 of them, thank you very much. Hopefully you'll enjoy this one as well, and hopefully you'll be able to get some nice little tips out of it. Now for this episode, I've decided to do another one for Vivid. So if you're not quite sure what Vivid is, Vivid's a light festival that is held each year in Sydney. And basically where they come in and they do these amazing light scenes and light displays in the harbour. Now this particular photo is actually taken at Wendy's Secret Garden, which is just over to the left here in Lavender Bay. Nice little location. I've yet to do a location review of it on Hotspots, but I will do that soon because I think it's a fantastic little location. And one thing I wanted to do with this photo was I wanted to try to capture something that I hadn't yet been seen captured at Vivid. Not in saying that I haven't seen a photo quite like this, as in composition-wise, shooting very wide from this location. I've seen lots from this location that zoomed right in, and they look fantastic. But this one I decided just to try and capture something wide and have these stairs going down here. Now, I'm going to definitely show you guys what I did with Camera Raw and Photoshop, but I actually just wanted to sort of take a minute and sort of talk about actually photographing this, because the conditions were actually quite tough. So there actually was not much light here at all. And what I want to do is actually just go and jump into Adobe Bridge and just show you guys the 2 photos that I used. So this is not a HDR image like I'm used to taking, again being up at night time, and like the last episode of Behind the Process. It's purely just a long exposure. Now, again, there was no light here at the time. I would have killed for like a torch or something so I could do some light painting. Wasn't the case. So what I decided to do was take one photo that was, I think, about 4 seconds, that sort of focused mainly out there on the harbour bridge and you know, getting those look beautiful. It was actually just starting to sprinkle when I took this photo, so getting these clouds in here all lit up was really cool, and again the city skyline there. But it really didn't capture much detail in here. It was really quite dark. I even went to the extent of trying to get a torch app on my phone while I was standing there, but to no prevail, unfortunately. So what I decided to do was, again, expose expose for that. And then what I did was then did a 30-second exposure for in here. So you can see here I'm getting all the details of the path, the garden, the trees, the stairs. But you can see if you have a look at the skyline here, the city skyline, it's all blown out. So then what I did was then I bring those 2 images, these 2 exposures into Photoshop. But I did play around with them first. So the great thing about playing with Camera Raw is you can, let me just bring that over. I've got 2 screens going here, so let me put that one in. So the good thing about shooting in Camera Raw is I get all this information here to play with. If you're not shooting in Camera Raw, if you're shooting in JPEG, I would highly recommend flicking it over to Camera Raw if possible, because it gives you your photos so much more information that you can go now in and play around with and have some fun with. So what I was able to do, you can see I've got the shadows and the blacks here pumped up. So I'll show you if I just move that down. You can see how by just moving that across, I'm actually getting all that information back out of the image, which helped out so much, especially for something like this where it was really quite dark. I was actually really quite amazed with how much detail I could actually pull out of a Camera Raw or of a raw image. It was fantastic. So basically that's what I did. And then I went to place the image in the document. Now, a question that I got last week through my Facebook page was, how do you bring these images into Photoshop? It's a good question. So basically all I do is I right click and I right click on the image that I want and I go place, and I go place in Photoshop. So that'll still open it up in Camera Raw, which is excellent. I can come in here and play with the different slides. And then once I'm happy with it here, I can go OK, and that will then actually open it up down into one of my, into a layer here, which I think it might be that one there. So let's go through it now. So now you know I've basically, this image here is made up of 2 different exposures, one at 4 seconds to capture the city skyline, and one at 30 seconds to get all the information in here, and then again using the fantastic processing ability of a camera raw image, or a raw image I should say. I'll come in here and just turn that on. So that one's just, sometimes with the first layer, as you can see, layer 0 copy, I just duplicate it. So nothing done there, but you can see here, this is where it all starts. So this image here, and you can see my little mask, the little black and white square here. See the area, so white reveals, black conceals. Okay, so the white area here is that longer exposed image. Okay, now what I can do is I can hold down the Shift key and click on that little mask layer there, and it actually hides it. So I've got the red cross going through it, so it's actually just turn the mask off. So you can see this is the 30-second exposed image, and I'll hold down the Shift key and click back on it again. And so this is how I was actually able to merge the 2 images together and start to get the, this area here nicely exposed down into going under the bridge with the little monkey there, and the skyline as well. And I didn't want to put too much light sort of in this area over the back here. I sort of wanted to bring everybody's attention onto sort of the path, so your eye is sort of drawn down the stairs and sort of over to the harbour bridge. A little bit of masking there, there was something there, there's a little bit of a light reflection, so I just sort of masked that out. Noise, so noise wasn't too bad with this image, but I always sort of run it through a noise filter anyway. And then my topaz adjust, so as you can see there's a bit of a difference there with topaz. So I've used topaz adjust to basically sort of bring a bit more detail, enhance some of the colours. Again, topaz adjust just does some really nice things, I find anyway. There's lots of different filters and that sort of stuff that topaz adjust comes with. The one that I like, I think off the top of my head, is called Photo Pop. So I play around with that one. That's the one that I quite like. And then just sharpen my image using the unsharp mask. If you're wondering what these are, okay, what I do is I use a thing called smart filters, and I'll do a video on YouTube about smart filters and the reason I use them there. Fantastic, so I will get to that, I promise, guys. The other thing I'm supposed to be doing a video on, which I will, is then I come in here and do my vibrance and my curves. So this in combination, again, just gives my photo a bit more pop. So you can see it lightens areas, but still keeps it nice. The contrast nice. It's something that I really enjoy doing. It's that little effect there. And again, I'll do another little Photoshop tutorial on that. So stay tuned for that. Again, these aren't supposed to be a full-on tutorial. It's more of a sort of again, look at the process that went into them. These videos I'll do separate. That way, otherwise these single blowouts will be an hour long. That's just a normal layer there. And then what I've done here, now levels is fantastic for color correction. So what I've come in here and done with levels is I've actually color corrected. So you can see that it's got rid of, looks like it's got rid of some of the blue, it's got a bit more red. Sometimes I won't use it. I'll definitely always do it, but I might not always keep it. So in this one I've decided to keep it because I like what it's done. And then I've just merged everything into a new layer before moving on to my next effect. And this one here, again, using levels as well. Now, levels is an amazing tool. I think I mentioned it in one of my videos before. It's one of my favorite things to do. But here, I've just used it on this, I've used it everywhere. And that is to bring out, again, just enhance some of the blues and whatnot there. Sometimes it's a bit hard to explain exactly what these do. Basically, you sort of understand what they do. You have a deeper understanding of what they do, I guess, and then you go about doing it. But I think that looks quite good. And then what I've done here is screen, and I've talked about this before. So screen with an opacity of 10%, just to lighten up the image again. This is something that I'll do to a lot of my images that are quite light. Is I'll come in here and just use the screen. And I find it's better than sometimes doing it that way rather than using something like levels or curves. And again, it's just as you get more experience of using these tools, you sort of find they have their slight variations and they sort of have their different looks. So I quite like using screen just at the end just to lighten things if I'm still finding it a little bit dark. Layer 8 there, I probably really should start naming my layers for these. Layer 8 there is this again, just merging everything into a brand new layer before moving on to the next one. A little bit more color again, so color manipulation or color correction or whatever you want to call it. Maybe this time we call it manipulation, because what I've done here, as you can see from the white and black mask, is I've actually just targeted the sky and I've just slightly enhanced the reds. And again, that is using levels. So you can see here I'm loving levels. 1, 2, 3, three lots of levels. Loving levels. Okay, so just enhancing the reds because the lights were bouncing off the clouds. Again, it was starting to sprinkle, so I think they probably were quite close to the ground. So they reflected a lot of light, which was fantastic. Then a vignette. Okay, and this one I sort of cranked up a fair bit. So you can see here, got that on multiply to it's a darkening blend mode, opacity of 40%. And that sort of, again, just draws everybody's eye down into the center of the photo. So I always do a vignette, never usually that much, I usually go 20%. This one I really sort of wanted to darken the corners and again, really sort of make it look dark, but sort of draw everybody's attention to the light of Vivid. And that's basically it. Then I've got my final image there, so everything gets merged into one final layer. And then I've got my little watermark there, which I pop on for Facebook and social media and those sorts of things, Twitter, Google+. So yeah, if we have a look at the before and after, so what I'll do is I'll go all the way down the bottom here, I'll hold down the Alt key, and I'll click that eye icon there. Okay, so that's the before. So that's before I ever bring in any other. That's just one 4-second exposure, and then that is the after. Okay, so I guess one reason I wanted to do this was, again, if you're out and about and you're shooting something and you think, wow, it's just too dark, I can't get any information out of it. I really want to shoot it. Maybe again, open your shutter right up. Bulb even. Or 30 seconds or a very long exposure. And again, make sure you're shooting in camera raw. I'm really loving at the moment camera raw and the amount of things I can do with it. Now, I am not a camera raw expert, although just with the little things I've been finding, definitely something that I'm going to be looking into a lot more. So stay tuned for a lot more information about camera raw because I really am loving it, especially for this long exposure stuff. Very, very cool. So, well, I hope that's helped. If you haven't been to Vivid yet, depending on when you're watching this video, obviously, well worth checking Vivid out. Jump over to Photography Hotspots. I'll probably have a location review. I plan on heading back here sometime soon just to shoot the garden, so I'll have a review up there sometime soon. Subscribe to the video because I'll be doing more of these. Again, guys, I really hope it's helpful. Any questions, please let me know. And yeah, all the best. Happy shooting, happy processing. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.